Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ArsenalAura. This will not be a full episode. This will be a short kind of recap about the preseason tour. Arsenal have left Singapore. They went to Hong Kong. They finished there with 2 wins. They've beaten AC Milan and Newcastle. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of topics. So the first one is that after 2 here we goes from Fabrizio, we finally got the striker that we as fans wanted. It's not maybe some fans would have wanted another striker or whatever else, but it's all water under the bridge at this point in time. Victor Gyökeres is Arsenal new striker, and that saga went. It took a couple of weeks, right? But after we got the second, here we go from Fabrizio. It's been really, really fast. Everything was signed. He got his medical. They put him on a flight and sent him to Singapore to introduce him to the fans, the groups, the influencers, everyone who went there, content creators, and so on, which is great, but now there's another question mark. Is he going to play against Spurs on Thursday in Hong Kong? My personal opinion is he might get it. It's really difficult because if you're the manager, right, you're under a lot of pressure because he's the new signing, of course. We've never played Spurs in preseason, so that's a really big game coming up. You want to throw him in, but in the same time, he only gets like 3 or 4 days of training with the squad. If you bring him in for 20, 30 minutes, something like that, do you risk it? He might not score, confidence might be a little bit, things might not go as well. So it's a pretty tough decision on Mikel's side. I do believe he'll play a part, especially because it's preseason and for the fans and media and everything else. Maybe we can hope he can, score or assist or something like that. But we'll see. I'm curious to know your thoughts on Christian Mosquera. Will he play? He has to, right? Because I think he's over a week now since he's joined the squad. So if you play Victor with 3-4 days of training with the squad, you have to play Christian Mosquera. Really, really curious about him. Don't know a lot. Didn't follow him when he was in Spain, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do and bring to the squad. Max Dowman, he is absolutely incredible. I always speak about this when it comes to young players, to children. He's 15 years old. He's not even 16, which is absolutely crazy because you need to have a maturity and you need to be able to handle the pressure of playing against AC Milan, against Newcastle. And the boy has that. That's incredible. I always think of Fabregas, right? Because he was thrown in when he was really young, Wilshere as well, and there are a couple others. But I don't know, we don't have. I would have thought that if Wenger would have been the manager, he probably would have thrown him in a couple of games, even in the, I don't know if in the Prem, but even in the Cup games or whatever else. Not so sure Mikel will do that. He does give him a couple of minutes because he wants him to sign the professional contract when he'll be eligible for that. But Um, the kid is impressive. The kid is absolutely stunning. Seriously, I mean, 15 years old, and he plays with that confidence, with that uh, energy and maturity. It's incredible. What a gem. I don't know what Mertesacker is giving those guys there, or what he feeds them, what he does to them, but it's incredible what the academy has been producing in the past couple of years. Um, yeah, I think he was the highlight, and the focal point against Newcastle, and he's the one to watch. I do hope after the performances he had in the first two games in Singapore, he will get some minutes against Spurs on Thursday. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I liked it. Mikel actually played a lot of the youngsters, and he made some really interesting combinations of players. Norgard looks good. Zubimendi looked really good against Newcastle and a little bit against Milan. I'm saying a little bit because we didn't get to see a lot. But yeah, I think AC Milan was intensity 1, Newcastle 2, because obviously they're a little bit more physical and whatever else. Spurs will be 3 to 4, and we're getting the intensity as high as possible to reach to start the Premier League. Rumors are that we're still looking to bring in Eberechi Eze. I would be very excited for him to join Arsenal, and I think it's a big possibility because you're looking at what Mikel said in one of the press conferences, and he said that we need more players, basically. The squad needs more numbers. So, taking in consideration the fact that we haven't sold, we're going to start selling players. Nelson is in discussions with Fulham, and then you have um, Fabio Vieira and maybe Trossard. I don't think he's going to sell Trossard, but we'll see. So you're looking at some exits. You're still gonna be a little bit, thin on number wise. So Eberechi would make a lot of sense, but let's see how it all plans out. I think the transfer window until now, bringing Zubimendi, bringing Kepa, who is extremely experienced and at a really good price. Victor Gyökeres, of course, there's the dark cloud about the Noni Madueke price tag and deal and whatever else, but we need a little bit of time to judge Noni Madueke. I'm gonna give him some time. I haven't seen anything I can judge for something, how he played at Chelsea or whatever else. I need to see, and some of his stats and numbers for the past year or years were pretty good. So we'll see. Maybe in a better squad with better players, he can thrive more. We'll see how it all pans out. But Victor Gyökeres took the deal took a couple of weeks to finalize, right? And the Arsenal community and fans and whatever else globally was at one point at boiling point, right? It was waiting for it to happen. We shifted from Gyökeres to Sesko and back and forth and back and forth. And there's a lot of pressure. I was thinking there's a lot of pressure on him. I saw I think an interview or some comments from his manager Brighton, way in the day, a couple of years back, and he said that he was very upset when he didn't score and things like that. So I was wondering, I was thinking while I was reading that, I was like, well, if he goes in, he needs a little bit of time to accommodate. I hope he hits the ground running and scores every single game. But if he doesn't do that, where does it take us or him confidence wise? There's this pressure that comes because now you're the main focal point attacking wise. You're the main striker at Arsenal. In the past couple of years, Arsenal have been uh, great, finishing second in the Prem, advancing year on year in the Champions League. So you're kind of having this kind of a pressure situation. And I hope, that's why I'm a little bit thoughtful on throwing him against Spurs right away. Maybe give him another couple of training sessions and be calm about it. I know there's a lot of pressure for him to play in Hong Kong against Spurs in preseason and everything else, but it's good that he's now at Arsenal. The deal is signed. He's in the preseason. There's still a couple of weeks to go where he can, gel in with the team, with the squad, and everything else. So I think it's a situation that has to be managed really delicately and smart. And there's also the huge question mark of how is Mikel Arteta going to play Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres. He's not going to play 80 minutes Gyökeres and 10 minutes Havertz and then 80 minutes Havertz and 10 minutes Gyökeres each week. He's not going to do that. He needs to find a balance because he really likes Havertz. Havertz has the advantage because he's been at the club for a couple of years, so obviously there's the connection, automation, whatever you want with the other players around him. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what he does with both Havertz and Gyökeres. I think as Andrew from Arsenal used to say, this is a very good problem to have. It's good to have to make difficult choices and everything else. But yeah, looking forward to the game against Spurs. Looking forward to Max Dowman. He's an incredible. He's gonna be incredible. Looking forward to Andrea Berta working his magic to sign Saliba and everything else. And yeah, we'll see. We'll have another longer episode of the podcast after the Spurs game. So yeah, I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. And up the Gunners. Come on.